So I got a question for you.
Okay.
Is it Mumra the Ever-Living or Mumra the Never-Dying?
It's Mumra the Ever-Living. It's a glass is half full kind of thing.
So you're a Mumroptimist, not a Rummessimist.
Wow. I think we need to change the name of this podcast.
The great thing is, listeners, that we workshop that before we hit record. So, you know, everything is artifice here on the Jaunty Mantis. A podcast of creative questions for curious gamers. I'm one of your hosts, Jesse, and with me is my co-host.
That's me. That's a me. I'm a Matty. I'm gonna win.
No, Wario's gonna win. It's always Wario who's gonna win. Just can't stop winning with Wario.
Yeah, he's got that tiger blood, like Charlie Sheen.
And he's got a Waluigi. Like, I don't have a Waluigi. If I had a Waluigi, I'd just be winning everything forever. But this podcast is about things you can't win, role-playing games. And
That's right.
that's what we talk about here. So I have a question for you, knowing full well the answer. I love doing this. Our question for today is, can we cut core features of tabletop RPGs? But before we jump into that...
Yeah, are we going to talk about our gaming week?
Yeah, how's your gaming week been?
How's my white gaming week?
How's your gaming week? How is your dreadful spirit in a barrow?
I'm playing in a Rifts Chaos Earth game. It's a complete role-playing game, Jesse.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're there. You're in
It's not at all a collection of Rifter articles stitched together without core important chunks of the core rulebook.
And I'm playing a demon hunter or a witch hunter. It could be both. It could be neither. It could be one or the other. That's Rifts, ladies and gentlemen. But there's not a lot of information in this complete role-playing game about the things that this class can do once you get past the initial rundown of what the OCC can do, right? It uses an element of magic or psionics or whatever, but that's not in the book.
Yeah,
because it's a complete role-playing game.
Complete.
You know, so you have to go looking for it somewhere else, right?
Well, good news.
Yes.
And then this will probably go live. Well, this is still true. Palladium has once again started their holiday special, where for just $62 plus shipping, you can get a whole crap ton of Palladium books in a box, autographed by Kevin and whoever else happens to be in the warehouse the day they sign the books and send them out. Oh,
man. They've got a missed opportunity, don't you think? They're leaving money on the table. What they should do is they should rent out time for you to be in the warehouse. So when they put the books together, you can sign them right along, Kevin. Wouldn't that be awesome?
I think they might do that at their Palladium. They have like an open house. They have a warehouse open house a couple times a year, I think.
Oh, okay.
So I'm trying to remember.
Would be pretty badass, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
Like, let's say Jesse from the Jaunty Mantis just happened to be in the warehouse.
I was just there that day in
Michigan.
Just
signed all the books in addition to Kevin.
How would you feel if you got your Palladium Christmas surprise book and right there is like Jesse Sauer and it just says obey the mantis or something dumb. I'm trying to remember what Kevin wrote in my copy of the complete role-playing game.
Because nothing dumb has ever been written into a Rifts book.
No, yeah, it's 100% solid. Is my Rift book signed? Oh, it looks like it's not. That's a bummer. Well, I got plenty. I'm just looking through the shelf. What do they write in Nightbane? I think I got this one through the... Yes, did I? Oh, yeah. What's Your Morphus? Kevin Simbita, 2023. And
it's so true.
Yeah, Sean Reynolds signed it 6 Semper Tyrannis.
What's your mortis? They're going to have to come up with a different catchphrase after the class action lawsuit. I think they should change it to what's your mortis?
What's your Morphus?
Morphus, that's what it was. Whatever. I know things.
What's your moniker?
Pay attention. But no, my gaming week in the Rifts Chaos Earth, I'm playing a demon hunter / witch hunter, and I have an inlaid bone and silver gun, which they're, you know, I decided to get a little creative with how it works. As you know, I'm just explaining this for the sake of the audience. There is no mechanical or thematic description that describes the gun being used in the way that I've been using it, which is when my character, it loads it up, like it's like a spirit, it's like a fires a spiritual energy of some sort. So I imagine that it just has like a big chamber and he spins it around and then points it, and then it curses in Mexican Spanish slang instead of making like a boom, and it fires out, whatever spiritual fire energy, as you know. And then I thought, he's got to unload it, right? Like for dramatic effect. Because if it's not a fucking Nerf gun. You know what I mean? It's not a toy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I figured when he goes to like unload it, like he'll crack it open and horrible shit will fall out of it. That wasn't.
Yeah, I love how you set yourself up for having to think of new horrible shit that comes out of it every time you.
Yeah.
All right. If you're a Jaunty Mantis fan and a gun nut, I'm sorry when we occasionally talk about guns because I don't know the term of art for the ungoverning the cylinder. It's the thing I'm going to make up for what
governing the cylinder.
Yes.
Oh. Jaunty Mantis After Dark.
Ooh, is that an ungoverned cylinder you've got there? Or
Jesse, you're ungoverning my cylinder.
Ooh, well, wouldn't be the first time. I've got my cylinder dice, my revolver dice, and this is
there you go.
Yeah, right. It spins. Whee!
Did I not describe what was happening? You load a gun. I fired a gun a couple times, different kinds of guns. I fired a carriage gun. I fired some sort of pistol once.
Wait, what's a carriage gun?
It's a gun that, was described to me as the kind of gun that if you were hanging off the back of a carriage, it would be optimal for shooting somebody who was riding a horse up to it. And the best part about it is that it was fully loaded, then handed to me. And then when I pointed it and pressed the trigger, nothing happened, which made me just about shit my pants. And I thought they were playing a joke on me, but it just wasn't firing, Jesse. So
yeah, you had a live round that had misfired in the barrel of a weapon that you didn't know how to handle.
Exactly.
Oh, right? I love that for you. That sounds not at all anxiety causing.
It happened 3 more times until it finally fired.
As my best friend, who I know, like me, does the math on shit.
Yes.
Thanks to anxiety. I love that for you.
Yeah, that's what happened. So, and my character, unloads the gun and, dead cockroaches come out of it instead of shells.
Yeah.
Or bloody tampons.
That was a nice touch.
Yeah. Like I just wanted to be gross and weird, and I thought I thought it'd be fun to do it like 1 or 2 times, but I felt like the group was into it. So the third time that I didn't do it, our game mother Patrick, who by the way, excellent game, Patrick. I'm having a ton of fun.
He's so good, right?
I've been very impressed. I knew he had it in him. I just, it's always refreshing when a game mother comes into their own, don't you think?
I think it is.
So I didn't expect to have to do it more than 3 times, but then Patrick was like, and
he's so good with the leading questions. And I don't think we did briefly do a Blades in the Dark little game like a long time ago with the Sunday night group.
Okay.
I don't think he's ever done one that's just like an apocalypse world based game where it's like ask a shit ton of leading questions. But you and I both like to ask leading questions because we've read good books on how to run games.
That's true. So, I mean, that was my gaming week as of over a week ago. I was traveling for work. I went to a conference, a 4-day conference that I go to every year. And I know people, I see them every year, and we keep throwing around this idea of doing a secret D&D game.
At the conference.
D&D in quotes. I brought Dungeon World.
Yeah.
We didn't end up playing. Surprise. Everybody else just decided to go out drinking.
Right.
But I keep bringing it every year, being like, well, this secret quote unquote D&D game is going to happen. And when it does, God damn it, I'm going to be ready for it with Dungeon World.
And you just bust out the folder and some dice at the bar and be like, we're doing this.
True story.
No fear.
I didn't get it.
Okay.
I'll have to do that next year.
Someday.
Tell me about your gaming week.
My gaming week last week, the Dragonlance game is going really well. They purified a Dragonlance.
Oh.
So they have a Dragonlance now in the Dragonlance game, right? I mean, like, that's like, they don't know what a childhood fantasy that was for me, but they're excited about it. Like, we have a Knight of Solamnia who has now got a pike-sized Dragonlance, and so it's cool. And it was really, really fun because, like, the encounter as written in the Dragon Queen, spoilers for the whatever Curse of the Dragon Queen or whatever, the Dragonlance adventure campaign. When you go to the Temple of Palladium or Paladine, I don't know how to pronounce that. I never say that word out loud.
Mm-hmm. You're killing it.
Thanks. There is a big berm covered in trees, and there is a treant who is an ancient caretaker in this crashed and abandoned Astarian city, flying city, who just views everyone as invasive species. So I got to do my best Treebeard voice and threaten combat with an int, but the bard immediately was just like, wait, very convincing speech. I'm like, fine, roll a diplomacy or charisma persuasion check, I guess is what it's actually called. Diplomacy not having been a skill in Dungeons and Dragons, I think, since 4th edition. They know what I mean. They're great. Hit a 20. And I'm like, okay, cool. Yeah, you talk it down. And then they're like, is there any dangers? I was like, oh, there's just Jameer, the Caliph of the Water, who's in this pond behind me. And so it was a Merid, a water genie. I'd never used one of those either. And they started talking to it. And I'm just like, what am I going to do for the voice? What am I going to do for the voice? And then I'm just sitting there and just go, what you doing in my waters? And so it was an extended old Greg riff with a water genie. And that was fun. And then
that's awesome.
Yeah, the cleric is now they're now 9th level. So the cleric is just like, I cast control water and just get the water out of the temple so we can just walk through. I'm like, oh, there's pits in the floor. We go around the pits. Cool. Get to the altar. They place the Dragonlance. It's restored. They hear the voice of a god talking to them. It was kind of an awesome moment.
Nice.
Yeah. And then this week, going into as we're recording, we had our first little session of the vampire game 2 weeks ago for B Team, and tomorrow is where I'm actually going to start launching into the sort of plot with other vampires in the city, and so I'm super excited about that. If you are a person who is interested in checking out Vampire the Masquerade 5th edition, the Crimson Gutter is like a toolkit for how to run your first vampire story for people who know nothing about Vampire the Masquerade. And I cannot recommend it enough. Listeners, if you want to give Vampire the Masquerade a shot, I would buy the core rulebook, the player's guide, and Crimson Gutter, and then you can stop for months unless you want to, be insane about it. They're not on the shelf because they're all in my carry bag to go to game tomorrow.
No.
So that was a visual reference for YouTube that did nothing because there's no books there to see.
Yeah. The audio listeners, thank you.
You're welcome. Well, I'm narrating. Imagine this.
Yeah.
A guy who no longer has a beard that you didn't know he had a beard before, but he doesn't now.
Listeners, I want you to imagine Jesse, but with a beard that he does not have anymore.
Imagine a beardless man.
Yes. While you're preparing to ungovern the cylinder, I want you to remember Jesse's beard.
Apply some shaving cream and ungovern the cylinder.
We have some fun, don't we? Hey,
we do. Our demographics don't have a lot of women listeners. I don't know why that is.
Why is that?
Why could that be? Oh well.
But you've been doing the Mantis bites. I've been loving it.
Oh, you like those?
Yeah.
They're fun. I gotta do some more. Do you think I should lean into Chris's idea? And what do you think, listeners? Chris had this idea that we should do an RPG a day because I have at least enough books to do that for a year.
And I don't.
No, but that's okay. That's what I bring to the podcast. You bring charisma, thoughtful questions, and I bring willingness to spend my children's future on
But
books.
you also bring the charisma and thoughtfulness, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
Oh, thank you. I love the part of the podcast where we ungovern each other's silliness.
Yep. I think this is going to be an ongoing thing. All right. Well, I love Chris's idea. It sucks that I can't participate in it because I have maybe 20 books. I keep putting things in quotes for the audio listeners.
You can do 20 of them.
But most of them are Cypher System PDFs.
That's fine. It counts as owning it. You don't have to actually show.
You hold the books up. What am I going to do? Print?
I stopped doing that. I just started getting a screenshot of the cover and just putting it in for a second.
You're much smarter than me.
My camera angle, it's trying to do everything on this mobile crap, and the picture's too small, and the book's all halfway off diagonal. Mm-hmm. I'm learning as I grow.
Yeah. All right. Well, I look forward to seeing your guys' Mantis bites. Chris, the third host of the show. Have you guys covered that yet?
Yeah, Chris is officially the third host of the show. I don't know if we talked about it when we recorded last week. I mean, Chris knew. I don't know if we've talked about it for the audience. Hey, it's going to be me, Matty, and Chris. When Chris's night job gets unfucked.
in some way, shape, or form, there will be 2 or more podcast hosts. There's going to be Jesse, Matty, and Chris, or Jesse and Matty, or Matty and Chris, or Jesse and Chris.
Yes. Those are, I think, all the possible combinations.
Yes.
All the permutations available. Yes. Speaking of permutations, I had an experience. This is non-gaming related, but it is nerd adjacent, and we talk about this shit sometimes. This weekend, it was gray and rainy, and my wife had an event on Friday evening, so I had a solo dinner and bedtime with the kiddos, and so we watched a movie, and we cuddled up on the couch, and we watched The Last Jedi. All of us under one big blanket. We watched The Last Jedi. They were super into it. I'm going to go on the record, hot take, and saying, that's a great movie, and I love it, and if you're mad about Luke in it, I'm sorry. You're broken. Now that I've alienated a good 3/4 of our audience.
Sure.
On Sunday, we did the same thing with The Rise of Skywalker.
Ugh.
I got to tell you, watching it with my kiddos, it was like new eyes. I had such a wonderful time watching that movie. Lottie had really interesting questions. Yes, there's still parts that are very clunky from a storytelling thing. Yes, there are things that I think are just rude towards Rian Johnson, from The Last Jedi. But there were moments where sitting there with my kids watching it, I got sincerely edge of teary. And it was a whole new wonderful experience because my kiddos were there. And I'm so excited that in a number of years, you might be able to do that too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll see if that's a thing, Yeah. Because he's... my kid's named after a Star Wars character.
Yeah, I thought Cad Bane was a cool name, and I'm glad.
Yeah, that's his name.
Yeah.
Are you excited at the prospect of the search for Ben Solo?
I saw that. I don't think that's going to happen.
No, they're desperately trying. So here's what I want to say, and this is probably going to get me kicked off the internet right now. So it's been nice knowing you, Jesse.
Sure.
I've said for years that people need to stop giving Kathleen Kennedy so much shit. Whether you like the decisions she's had or not, that she's made or not, people turned her into the fucking Star Wars devil, and I never thought she fucking deserved it, because for as many things as that you didn't like when she was in charge of Star Wars, there was an equal number of things that you probably did. So, and people would get real choosy about this. They'd be like, oh, she ruined Star Wars because of, Rise of Skywalker or whatever. But she was also in charge for The Mandalorian, which everybody loves.
Yeah.
And fucking Andor, which everybody loves.
Yeah.
And this recent news about, I don't know how we just became a Star Wars podcast, but this recent news about how like fucking motherfucker wanted to do more Kylo Ren stories. And so he gets fucking Steven Soderbergh and this like amazing team together. They get fucking Dave Filoni on board. They pitch it to Kathleen Kennedy. She's like, I love it. They fucking work on it for like what, 2 years? And then push it all the way up to the top, and then they're like, no, that character's dead. It won't work. And it's like, really? Like, there's a whole bunch of fucking shit that was used to bring back the fucking Emperor. Are you sure? There's no way they could make this work at all.
There's a whole Project Necromancer like that like spans decades and involves the DNA of multiple children. Like there's nothing disturbing about that at all. Like, I mean, why not you? Well, what are they going to use for the DNA? Because he just disappeared. And I assume every cellular trace of his that had a midichlorian also vanished into the Force, because otherwise it wouldn't make sense. I can't even.
But did he disappear?
No, I'm going to stop.
Because he fucking teleported a fucking lightsaber over to Daisy Ridley, which is my favorite fucking Force power in all of Star Wars. I got to be honest with you.
That was just sending stuff across space.
I mean,
berries when you accidentally slash open a.
Those two were talking over long distances to each other.
Yeah, but they're a dyad in the Force, like the Holdo maneuver. That's a 1 in a million.
And while we were all waiting for them to ungovern the cylinder, Jesse, that results in them having a special connection to teleport lightsabers to each other. And it sounds like I'm being facetious, but that moment in that movie is probably the only part of that movie I actually liked. Well, I also like the part where the other Jedi voices, blah, 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 Freddie Prinze Jr.
That was
in there.
cool.
It was fucking awesome.
I like the part where he's talking to the memory of Han Solo, like as he's just like, Kylo Ren is dead. I'm like, oh, okay, I like this.
Yeah.
I mean, fathers and sons. I'm sitting there with my son like right next to me, so it's a whole like, yeah.
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 So that's my ask of the internet. Please don't cancel me, but can we please stop fucking like making Kathleen Kennedy out to be the worst person ever when clearly there's somebody else who can ruin Star Wars.
They're making more Star Wars, and occasionally it's really good.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really good.
And if it's not really good, it's usually still pretty entertaining. I don't see how Star Wars is ruined in any way, shape, or form. Yeah.
What was this podcast about again?
Creative questions for curious gamers. Like why do you all not like The Last Jedi? Like, because it's so good. Okay, anyway. Our actual question, should we talk about that?
Yeah.
Maybe. We're only like 30 minutes in.
Yeah, you got 30 minutes. Let's go.
This cylinder is ungoverned.
We are going to push that joke into completion by the end of this episode.
It'll just be governed again.
Yeah, we're going to cover the
re-govern. Okay, so the question is, I think this is a Chris one. Could we cut core features of TTRPGs?
This is actually mine, buddy.
Okay, I think the names got mixed up.
I was moving shit around on our show notes there.
Okay.
Yeah, this one's one of my curious questions because I have been reading Draw Steel.
Yes.
In anticipation of our very late full review of Draw Steel Book 1.
That's next week.
And it got me thinking about what makes the core features of a role-playing game and how much of this is a holdover from Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
And how much of it can we just cut? So, like, to use the example of ability scores, how badly do we need ability scores?
Yeah.
And in what way do we need to mechanically utilize them for role-playing games, right? Because they all usually come down to the same strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, charisma, right?
Yes.
Well, do we need ability scores, and do they need to be like that? Because that's usually how they show up, right?
Yeah, I mean, the simplified version of that is like a lot of games are moving away to like just generate a bonus. You don't need a number between 3 and 18, which good. That is technology. We probably should have
Right.
like, we're going to generate a random number just to get a modifier. And the modifier is the only thing you're ever going to care about, other than you can say what the number is if it's high, and people will be presumably impressed that you're like in strength is 1800. I don't know.
I think that's where it comes from, though, right? Is like the bragging rights of having an 1800, strength character back in
that's such a
D&D.
D&D. I was going to say that's such a D&D thing, and then I was going to say nobody would ever say in Vampire I have 5 dots in strength, and I'm like, no, somebody would 100% say I've got 5 dots. I have 5 dots in manipulation, so watch out.
Yeah. I mean, that's just what it is. It's bragging rights.
So I think, one of the things is, oh God, what is his name? One of the guys behind Thousand Islands, I think Sue is his name. But he had this really interesting article that its basic thesis, I think I've mentioned this on the show, is that gamers love a taxonomy.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Like, that's why monster species are evil, because gamers love a taxonomy. Like, oh, I can just put everything this here. I think you can definitely have a role-playing game where people don't have attributes or ability scores that define their character.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Dungeon World doesn't necessarily have ability scores, right?
Uh-oh.
Like,
I have it in my bag ready to play, and I'm blanking on whether or not.
No, I'm thinking of Apocalypse World has like cool, and they're not what I would call ability scores necessarily. They're just like aspects, like hot. Okay, Monster Hearts 2 has cool or cold and hot, and dark and all, and those are like, the statistics that you have a modifier in.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know that it's necessarily what you would call an ability score. Right. How do you define your character? I'm now really curious. How do you define your character without some sort of stat or ability score?
So just so Dungeon World does have the strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma.
Right, because it'd be like roll plus strength or roll. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So that one's on that. Whew, that's been settled. I can't believe I blanked on that. Actually, that makes sense. But how do you know the core features of your character or what your character can do?
I mean, yeah. How do you know how strong or how fast they are? Okay.
Because I can tell you how strong or fast my character is.
Yeah.
Or you can create a different system. Like I've been toying around with the idea of, for my next Heartbreaker, of just being like, name 4 things you're good at. Anything. 4 things you're good at. So
you're some sort of aspect that defines your character?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then I would say, okay, what does that represent? Physicality, mental intuition, life experience, charm. You could use all the same terms, but do they have to be ability scores? Like if you had a list of 4 things you're good at and 3 of them are like strength-based things, like, okay, well, looks like your character would be strong. Is that, would that be accurate? Yeah. Okay, cool. Your character is strong. You know what I mean? Like, does it have to be this like super defined thing? Could your character be all of these things? Could your character be strong, dexterous, fast, smart, wise, charming, all the things? Could they just be that? Because that's pretty much up to the player character in the game. Okay, what am I trying to say? people usually play their characters as if they're smarter or stronger or faster than they actually are. That's what I want to say. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
I've watched people try to charm other characters in a game where they have 8 charisma. Right? I've watched people try to make logical arguments when their characters have 10 intelligence. And as a game mother, I've been like, okay, that's what's in your head. Like I've had the person be like, okay, well, it's my character comes up with this plan and works like this, and then this happens, and oh, it was all this, and then we work around here, and the puzzle pieces all fit together, and then boom. And I'm like, okay, cool. That was a great description. Here's what it sounds like to the rest of the party. And then I'm like, blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? Because you're bound by the mechanical elements of your attributes.
Yeah, I don't see. Here's the thing. I think you ideally want a situation where people are bound by the attributes for their characterization of their character, but very clearly from all of our shared experiences as role players, they are not, unless you're playing Pendragon.
Okay. What's Pendragon again?
Pendragon is the like Greg Stafford game of playing Arthurian Anglo-Saxon knights. Pendragon, okay. Yeah.
As he holds the book up to the screen for the audio listeners.
Yeah, audio listeners, I own this book. And so you have these knightly virtues that have there's a positive and a negative, honesty and deception or whatever. And so those two paired values always have to add up to 20. And so at a certain point, I think past 16 and 1, if you try to act the other, you have to roll to see if you can.
Okay.
Because the character actually, in oh God, I'm forgetting names. In the words of Luke Crane, your character pushes back against you, which I think is a really interesting concept. You would need an ability score. Well, that's not an ability though. These are ratings and virtues. Which there are ability scores, but the virtue ratings are way more important. And I think that's a pretty interesting way to think about, rate your character's virtue and morality. One of the things I will say for our complete role-playing game is if you read the description of stats, the modifiers are if they're excessively low or excessively high. And most of the written text of that game is just guidance on how to role-play the character with this stat. It's not really intended to mechanically interact very much at all. It's supposed to be guidelines for role-playing, which is not the way I have ever taken it in a Rifts game, a game that I learned to play when I was a power-hungry teenager. So, I don't know. I think there's a lot of really fertile ground to be had in games where there is, no ability score, and you maybe have someone define the characterization.
Yeah. I could see players saying, well, I need to know, I want my character to be strong. I'm playing a fight horror. I want to be strong, right? I need something to demonstrate that. And I'm like, okay, like you had just said, they're aspects. All right, here are the aspects. Which ones are you? You got 2 or 3. Are you known for your strength or your speed? Are you known for being smart or charming? But do they have to be actual ability scores? Right?
Yeah.
Well, then, for crunchier games, those get implemented directly into the pathways and the flow of how you play the game, the play loop, right? In order to swing sword, you must be strong, right? Unless you're fast and you're using a finesse weapon, right? And it's that's kind of where my brain starts to fall apart. Is well, you could use technically any ability score for combat. You could be very weak, but implement a very delicate, sharp weapon and be very smart and wait for your moment. Right. And as long as you can navigate this attack that's coming at you, you strike at a weak point that you've analyzed on your opponent. And if somebody were to be like, I'm fighting with intelligence, and you gave me a reasonable description of how that works, I'd be like, fuck it, roll it, let's go. I'm here for it.
Yeah, that's the thing I've always said about the White Wolf games with the storyteller system is like ostensibly you can pair up any attribute with any skill or any ability with any skill because like if you can make a case for why you're going to roll, you know, manipulation plus law, like cool. Like I mean, you're going to play. So this is the thing though. And this has to come from like gamist perspectives and then like system mastery, which is a thing that I care about as a player and runner of RPGs, right? At the end of the day, whatever mechanical system there is, if there's like a conflict resolution or a chance of success or failure, I'm going to try and drive the narrative to allow me to use the things that my character is mechanically good at, whether those are ability scores or aspects in say fate or this morality in say if you're saying like playing Pendragon, you're going to probably try and do things in the morality, though I might perniciously try to do things against my morality because you can fail and it's interesting. So at that point, what functionally do we gain or lose by giving up ability scores?
I guess it depends on the overall game, the way the game works. If you're playing 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, you're giving up a lot if you have low dexterity. Dexterity is this uber stat, right? Like it helps with skills and armor class, finesse attacks, ranged attacks. You know what I mean? It's like the ultimate ability score. And then you have intelligence in 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, which is like the worst ability score. It's really only useful to like what, wizards?
Wizards, wizards cast off intelligence.
So it's really only valuable to wizards for spell casting.
Well, like, I mean, that's also though that like that's the knowledge suite of like knowing things. That's nature and history and arcana and like all of those are like intelligence checks. So with a proficiency bonus and a high intelligence, like you are your party's font of information and you know things.
Yeah, but that's one character. Every character benefits from high dexterity and you know what I mean?
I don't know that they do.
I think that they do.
Martial character classes don't benefit from a high dexterity.
They don't.
Because you don't get dex bonus once you start getting into scale mail and plate mail. Like that armor pushes you. It's so heavy that you can't use a dex bonus for it. But like that gets you the highest armor class, which as a martial character, you probably want if you're going for a tanky build.
Don't you still have to make range?
Yeah, every once in a while you're going to throw a javelin, but most of your fighter abilities, like trust me, I've been playing like fighters and monks. Okay, monk is different because
I would say monk dexterity important. Yeah,
dexterity, wisdom, both important, but you got two attributes you got to get up to max monk. As a fighter, you can do with just strength. You could actually treat dexterity as a dump stat as a fighter.
But doesn't dexterity also affect your initiative?
Yeah, but you can take care of that with a feat, and it's not as I don't feel like initiative is as important as it maybe used to be in like 3.5.
Okay. Agree to disagree, but I do see your point. Like
it's important. I mean, every stat, like they're important in different ways. I think strength and dexterity, probably dexterity interacts with more features for skill characters than like strength does for a martial.
Okay.
Because the broad utility of dexterity based skills for getting shit done in an adventure setting.
Yeah.
Right. Not to say that athletics based on strength doesn't have utility, but like those, like, you know, hiding is really, really like important situationally. For characters that are good at hiding. But that it comes from a combination of a high dexterity because that attribute is important to that class and getting the skills from your background and character class that let you do that with proficiency bonus. Like all the rogue stuff.
Right. I'm not good at 5th edition Dungeons and Dragons, but if I was,
Rogues can engineer situations through their combination of dexterity and class features to hit like a Mack truck, but they have to engineer it. And because a team is not a bunch of min-maxers, like I watch them repeatedly do suboptimal things with their characters because they don't know better, because they haven't learned system mastery, because it's not important to them. And all the things that people say about them being broken don't apply. And so now I'm playing in a little like 3-shot run by Lauren, the Beast, where I'm playing a martial character and everybody else is playing like, rogues or whatever they're playing. And like I repeatedly and routinely hit like a Mack truck because I have system mastery. And they're like, Jesse, are you cheating? I'm like, no, I just know the rules of this game. Like, would you like some advice? I mean, I don't want to tell you how to play your character, but let me know if you want some advice. I can tell you how to set up the dumb shit. Here's the dumb shit I realized with a martial character.
sure.
Okay, this is a thing I learned recently, and it blew my mind. The wording in 2025, 5e, for an opportunity attack is that when a hostile figure leaves your threatened area, you may use a free action to make an opportunity attack. Keyword there, leaves. Not moves out of, leaves, which means pushing. Impacts it. So with my Illrigger, I realized I had this feature from the character class. This is a Matt Colville MCDM like third-party thing I bought because don't go on D&D Beyond Marketplace drunk, people. Take it from the Jaunty Mantis. If you've been drinking, avoid the D&D Beyond Marketplace. But yeah, my one cool fighting style ability is that when I hit somebody, I can push them 5 feet. So 5th level or higher fighter, 2 attacks, first attack hits, second attack hits. On the second attack, I push them 5 feet back, and then I get an opportunity attack against them. And so does the rogue next to me in combat. And because they're next to me, they'll still get that sneak attack damage at the point they strike. And then, yeah. That's fun for me.
Yeah.
But do I need an ability score to do that? No.
No, you just need a savvy understanding of the rules.
Yes. Skills.
Yeah. Who needs
skills?
them?
Who needs them? Yeah, I don't know that this one's controversial or hard. Although without ability scores, having no skills, then it leaves me terrified of what's going to happen. How do I know what I roll?
Skills, it seems like such a nebulous thing. You either have a very complex skill system or you have a very basic one.
Yeah.
And
I have no skill system.
Well, I don't know if I've ever played a game that has no skill system. That's what I wanted to ask you about. What if a game did have ability scores but no skills?
I mean, well, that's like this whole section of my game library is games with ability scores, but no skill system.
Oh, I didn't realize you had it specifically organized that way. Yeah,
I kind of have it like thematically organized by like, okay, I'm a huge nerd about role-play games because I have a podcast about the OSR games tend to not have skill systems.
Right.
It depends, like what they say for that. It's usually an ability check covers it, but it's just ruled by the DM if there's a chance of failure, like what it is. Shadow Dark, you have your background that gives you advantage on the ability check if it makes sense from the background that you would be good at this thing, but there's not like a skill you write on your character sheet for it. Like Into the Odd, you just, make a saving throw, like to avoid the negative consequence of the thing you're attempting to do. Everything is saving throw based, and that goes all the way through with Electric Bastion Land and Mythic Bastion Land. So like Cairn does the same thing too. There's this whole skill-less OSR games. Old School Essentials, which is over there, that also doesn't have a skill system in it. So yeah, you can definitely play. D&D Basic did not have a skill system.
Yeah. But it seems like in the realm of fantasy, is where you can get away with not having skills. If you were to play a sci-fi game, it seems like you have to have skills.
I see what you're saying about that, and as an experiment, I think we got to try and play like we got to do like a one shot of like Cyborg.
Okay,
like just
is that the Morkborg?
Yeah, that's the Morkborg cyberpunk game. Like, can we do it without? Because I mean, obviously, you and I are both going to be first cyberpunk Shadowrun, like, and that has a skill system.
Yeah. I just feel like skills are either adding a level of complexity to the character, or they're just things that feel like they should be there, even though I don't know if they need to be there. Like, if the game does not depend on them being used in order to move the game encounter forward, then should they be there at all?
Yeah,
I guess is my question. Like you were saying earlier about intelligence having value for your knowledge suite of skills. But I'm the kind of person that doesn't hide game progress behind knowledge skills anymore. I used to, and it was super aggravating, and it was called the mat wall at some point, or some variation thereof.
No, I coined the term. I think I'll agree that that's what a mat wall is. Yeah.
And it was after that experience that I learned the error of my ways. Like you should not hide progression behind skill checks. Otherwise the story and the game and the fun stops.
Yeah.
So, how valuable then is knowledge skills? You know what I mean? Like, how valuable are they is how I should learn how to speak English. But
yeah, I think like mechanically local color like is something useful where like you can pick this thing up to give you advantage on another roll. Like because of this information. I think if D&D 5e had a full-on if it had a full-on skill challenge or you were using skill challenges in 5e, it would probably have more utility. One of the things I really, really like about Exalted 3rd Edition is the lore skill that's in there specifically says, like, when you roll this, if you succeed, you say what the answer is and add a fact to the world.
Right.
And I love that idea. As just like, the PC asks, well, what do we know about this? And you're like, okay, roll it. And then on a failure, you tell them what it is. On a success, they tell you what it is.
Right. Like, and I'm more of a fan of that use of skills, right? Like, let's say the party comes to, I don't know, like an impasse of some sort, a mountain or hill is in the way or something. Maybe there was like a landslide in a mountain range and the players are now at the base of it. Somebody says, I'm going to use survival. And they get the roll. And I say, okay, what happens next? It says, well, after rooting around in the landslide, I find that we can actually push our way through. And with enough careful, guided, step here or crawl through this, we can actually find our way through the mountain pass. You know what I mean? Like, I would rather do that than just like, well, you make a climb check. Everybody make your climb check. Oh, Ralph failed their climb check. Haha. Skills are often very like boring and monotone for me. And I don't really like using them unless it's like.
There's some bad habits, I think, that like 3.5 players picked up.
Guilty as charged.
Yeah, same here, of it being this binary pass fail because we had a system with enough complexity that we could model every situation and then we could stop thinking about it and just be like, okay, roll for it. Okay, you succeed. Okay, cool. Which is probably the wrong move if you want to have an interesting narrative-based story in your game.
Right.
If you have fun playing that way, like we had fun playing that way for a decade. So like no knock against you, but like as times and the technology of role-playing games changes and tastes change, you might want more out of it. And I think you and I are both, as people playing and running these games, kind of looking for more out of it. And a skill system, to me, like a very robust skill system and a very crunchy game is a holdover from 90s gaming. I mean, look at Rifts. Like, A complete role-playing game.
Right.
Rifts, Chaos Earth. So yeah, I think you and I think are both, if we boil it down, we're at a point where skills don't even matter. Like, it's just the dice are an oracle for how we're going to proceed with the narration.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I wouldn't be opposed to using a complex skill system where the skills are thematically used in the play experience, you know.
Yeah.
Like if you're, and I don't know if this would work or not, but like let's use the standard lock picking example, right? There's a chest, it's trapped, thief rogue has to pick the lock or disarm the trap.
Yep.
And it's like, okay, you need to succeed, you know, X number of skill attempts in X amount of time, right? Like you and I years ago once, and I think this conversation is what led us eventually to the Jaunty Mantis. We had a conversation about adding a more skill-based element into a role-playing game, right?
Yeah.
Can you solve this? Can you do this a certain way to demonstrate skill at the table instead of it being completely coming down to random chance through dice, right? So if you were to say like, hey, this is that swordfish moment. You're Hugh Jackman. You're picking that lock. Fucking start rolling dice. You got to do X number in X amount of time. Like you got like an hourglass or something with a bunch of sand, and you put that over, and it's like, you know, going through or whatever, right? Or it's winding down on your phone, and the person has to make consecutive pick lock checks or lockpick checks. You know what I mean? This is just off the top of my head, so it's probably really stupid. But
I'm with you, and I think they've already solved it, and it's just dread with the Jenga tower.
Right? Okay, that's a perfect example. Yeah. So like that, I would be interested in skills that way. You know, where it's like, you know, this is the skill you're trying to do. You've got X amount of time. You got to nail 4 in a row or something like that. And if you don't, then the situation escalates, right? Yeah. Like I'd love for you to have to defuse a fucking trap and then have it get like, just, I would love to describe it getting worse and worse and worse if you're fucking up the checks. You know, like I think that would be really cool for a fantasy game.
No, I agree.
Like imagine every trapped chest had some sort of element like that, where it just was going to the fucking nth degree instead of like, well, we check it for traps. Okay, you check it, it's trapped. Okay, I rolled a disarm. Okay, what'd you get? I got an 18. Okay, you successfully disarmed the trap. There was a clasp on the bottom of it. You flicked it open. You were able to smash the vial with the poison or bend the needle that was going to stick you or whatever, or you opened it upside down. You know, you did it, right?
Yeah.
But why does pick lock have to be the skill to disarm a trap? What if I'm Joe Barbarian and we don't got a fucking rogue or tinker or whatever in the group? And I'm like, look, I use strength. Like, make the DC higher if you have to, but I'm rolling to disarm this trap by flipping the chest upside down and smashing it on the ground. Why can't I disarm trap?
I mean, you can try to smash it with an athletics check.
Sure.
And if there's delicate treasure in there, it might be broken. I mean, this is
delicate, why, like pieces of gold.
No, like a bottle of fine perfume.
No, now my gold smells good.
Yeah. Well, I think you totally can, and that's a way to go. So
fair enough.
I don't think you need a skill system. I played plenty of games back in the day that didn't have them. Okay. I think you can go too far with a skill system, but I don't think
you can totally go too far.
One of the things I'm trying to remember where I heard this, or if it was just a thought I had, I probably heard it somewhere, but like the idea of, like if you're doing something with a skill challenge of just being like, here's the goal, guys. What are the steps that you all need to take as a party to reach this goal? I need at least 4 things. Mm-hmm. What are the 4 things that you guys are going to try and do, the steps to reach this goal? Okay, this is the steps. Who's taken the first one? what do you do to meet this requirement? Cool.
Right.
Okay, you narrate it, roll it, you do it, and then you set up the basic skill challenge. That might actually be from Draw Steel. I don't know.
Oh, well, then I'm not there yet.
Okay. Yeah, when they get to the montages, that might actually be from that. You also listed things to get rid of, and this one I think is going to be a shorter topic. Oh no, sorry, skills. One last thing. The fact that the skills in Cypher System are so nebulous has always wigged me out. I want them to be codified. Like, I don't want to just make up my own skill.
Interesting. I thought you, of all people, would have been okay with that.
No, it freaks me out. I'm like, this is too much freedom. It's like the ants and the Simpsons and when Homer's an astronaut. Freedom, horrible freedom.
Right.
Because I want to optimize it. And when there's no limit on it, on what it can be, I have no idea how to optimize it, and it freaks me out.
But that's kind of bringing me back to the whole point of this topic, which is that if you're in the right group, if you've got good players, they are going to self-regulate. You could get away with saying, hey, you're all strong and dexterous and tough and smart and wise and charming. Who cares? And your players, the vast majority of people I've played with, will be like, okay, but my character, isn't that bright, or my character, like they will self-regulate. My character isn't that strong, but he's very fast. Okay. Like people will do that. You get your like asshole power gamers, which is a division of power gamers. I love power gamers. I love smart, non-asshole power gamers. I like the good ones. I don't like the bad ones. I think those are the people who would try to abuse that system. It's the assholes. But then it's an asshole problem, not a systems problem.
We've talked about this so much on the podcast that I think I'm just at the point where like I don't think you can use the mechanics to control assholes. Like just don't play with assholes.
Exactly. But that's kind of my whole point for this topic, right? Is like you could do away with all of these things.
Well, speaking of doing away with, that's a good segue to the next one on your list, because this one is weapon proficiencies.
Yeah, I think this one should go right out the fucking window.
Yeah, I don't think you need it. I don't think a weapon proficiency adds anything at all. Like a lot of some more modern games, like maybe Draw Steel as well, doesn't even have names on the weapon. It's just a type and a die, and you get to describe what that weapon is.
Yeah, what do you have? Like, what's the danger of your fighter using fucking pocket knives? You know what I mean? Like, just let it fucking go. Let them, like that, again, to reference third edition, that was one of my biggest problems is like, I want to make like a dagger fighting maniac, bar crawling bastard. You know what I mean? Just fucking ugly as sin, big, tough piece of shit, fights with fucking daggers. He's always got one in between his teeth. You know what I mean? But it doesn't do the most optimum amount of damage. Because he's not a dexterity character, Jesse, to your point earlier.
Yeah.
So, that always irked me. Weapon proficiencies, it's like, why don't you just let weapons be a thing? But I think this comes from the tradition of like, fighters got to fight. What makes a fighter? Well, they know how to use all the weapons, right? Fighters would know how to use all the weapons.
And it's so crazy because I think like when that starts in the history of the game, there's not a ton of mechanical difference between the weapons except maybe the die you roll for damage.
Yeah.
Like in 2025 with the mastery things that you can do, like that actually begins to matter in ways that are weird and I haven't fully explored. But like in 5e 2014, again, I don't think it really mattered except like a heavy crossbow, you're going to lose some time to reload. Like that's, I don't know. Like, yeah. Just let somebody like get the highest die for how they want to hit. Like the guy who's really good with the dagger, like he does D8 damage with the dagger, like because he's really good with it.
Yeah. Like if I would rather have weapon proficiency just be a higher damage die, right? So if your fighter has to be fighting and to be the best fighter, they have to always be fighting, then make weapon proficiency represent a damage value.
Did we just reverse engineer Index Card RPG? Did we?
I don't know if we did.
I think we're at the edge of that.
But like that's what works for me. That's what I would rather have. Fighter do most amount of damage. That's the weapon proficiency.
Yeah,
regardless of what they use.
I don't think it's a bad thing in RPGs, but I feel like I'm maybe at a point where class differentiation doesn't interest me the way it used to.
Okay. Tell me more.
Well, like the weapon proficiencies is a way that you differentiate classes. Like you were just saying, the fighter can use everything, you know, like and the cleric can only use blunt weapons because they cannot spill blood. I'm like, I'm sorry, if you hit someone with a 5-pound metal ball on the end of a club, they're spilling blood.
Yes.
Yeah. It's just there for class differentiation. And like, if the wizard wants to have a great sword, then let the wizard have a great sword. The wizard still has like their very low hit points. And if they're swinging the great sword, they're not casting a spell.
Exactly.
So like what is harmed by giving the wizard a great sword? If you want to make a super burly wizard with a fucking claymore, who just like never wears a shirt and is covered in blue woad all the time, frothing at the mouth, screaming, occasionally casting like magic missile, but mostly hitting things with a great sword or not, let him.
Yeah, I love it. You're speaking my language. You're turning me on. I'm so happy with what you just said.
Have we unregulated the cylinder?
But I think we have extinguished this topic.
Yeah, we rode this one into the ground.
That's what we do here on the Jaunty Mantis. And listener, if you have anything that you've ever questioned in a role-playing game, send us your questions. Jesse, do we have a Gmail?
We do.
Address?
If you would like to ride us into the ground,
yes,
send an email at jauntymantis@gmail.com. Or if you're watching us on YouTube, leave a comment.
That's right.
I do check them, actually,
Jesse
and respond.
Checks them.
I do.
I don't.
Yes, but I do. I will see it eventually. Might be a day or two after you post it.
I don't see them because I'm taking care of my child named after the famous Star Wars character, Momomadan.
The Cad Bane thing. My daughter is obsessed with Cad Bane, and periodically she'll just look at me at the dinner table and be like, "Pass the salt, little lady." She keeps calling me little lady while trying to do a Cad Bane voice, and she's starting to get good at it.
That's awesome.
I just feel like I'm living my best life right now.
You know, if it wasn't your kid, I would say you're full of shit, but I totally believe it.
No, she did it at dinner tonight. She's like waggling her eyebrows and just like, "Pass the salt, little lady."
I love it.
She was just like, no, she was like, "Please stop talking, little lady." And I was just like, Cad Bane would not say, "Please stop talking." And she was like, "What would he say?" He'd say like, "Shut your trap, little lady." That's what Cad Bane would say.
Hell yeah. And listener, if you have something you would like to say to the Jaunty Mantis,
then shut your trap, little lady.
And keep playing those fucking role-playing games.
Or don't.
Or don't.